Let's not just talk about porn. Let's talk about AI-generated pornography.
Her own face had been used to create AI deepfake porn posted without the subject's consent.
If this technology goes wrong, my worst fears are that we cause significant harm to the world.
Some companies, like OpenAI, are suggesting the path to ethical porn goes through generative AI.
We're graduating from I'm looking at actual women, now I'm looking at a woman that doesn't actually exist.
This feels like the most self-serving thing that you can do sexually.
Here we are. Porn stars, AI is coming for your job. What about the person who would say, isn't using AI pornography better than sinning with someone in real life?
It puts you in almost like a godlike position. I don't have to engage with humanity anymore.
Boy, let's talk about this. Gen Z is all about authenticity. You can't tell me that you value authenticity when you're looking at porn.
What is using AI porn an act of worship to?
I have many thoughts, did not know you were going there.
Let me also say, and this might be one of the more unhinged things we've said on this podcast.
Go on.
But hey friends, welcome back to the Let's Talk About It podcast by Moral Revolution. My name is Ellis Madry.
My name is Sam Cresswell.
My name is Daniel Madry.
And we're so excited that you're joining us today. If you haven't noticed, my voice is a little deeper. I'm speaking in complete sentences, and that's for one reason. This is actually an AI-generated podcast. You're not actually hearing my real voice. If you're watching us on YouTube, this is not actually me. Just kidding.
No, I'm joking. That was so hard to be that stale. I'm not a stale person. I like being animated.
That's right. This is not actually AI. If only we were that ahead of the times with our podcast.
Absolutely.
But we are talking about AI today.
But first, let's shout out Sam Cresswell real quick. You guys might remember him from the Work Club podcast that was released earlier this year. If you haven't listened to Work Club podcast, shameless plug, go listen to it. Get to know us, get to know our team, get to know the issues that we're working through.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're glad to have Sam on the podcast with us today. And Ellis is right. Today, we're going to be talking about AI. Specifically, we're going to be talking about AI and porn.
I think 5 to 10 years ago, the thought of those two words being used together in a sentence, AI porn, is pretty mind-blowing that this is where we've made it as a society. This is now something that has to be discussed when we talk about issues of purity, when we talk about sexuality or morality, that we're even talking about, let's not just talk about porn, let's talk about AI-generated pornography.
Absolutely. It's pretty wild.
It makes me think about how can you actually understand the power of something? Like my mind immediately goes to scripture and I'm thinking about God himself said that man, when he's unified, there's nothing he can't do. So who thinks about AI?
He had AI in mind.
No, I know, but I'm like, who would have thought AI can be used to do this and this and this and this? Like yesterday, I was talking to my parents and they're wanting to remodel this church and turn it into a venue and a coffee shop. And my mom was like, how am I going to find somebody who can do 3D projections of this space and then make it look better? And I was like, take a picture, post it in ChatGPT and see if it'll give you some renders. And she was like, okay. So she did. And she was like, this is crazy. So in like 30 seconds, she's got renders for a 3D model. And I'm
My
like,
guy.
what? So yeah.
Such a testimony. I feel like a lot of people never thought AI would come for their jobs, but here we are. Porn stars, AI is coming for your jobs.
Yeah.
Here we are, jobless and hungry.
Oh no. I think we need to start by defining, okay, what exactly is happening in our culture when it comes to AI and pornography? What are the dangers here? What are the pitfalls? And yeah, I'll just toss that one out to you guys. What are y'all seeing?
Well, a friend of mine yesterday on Instagram posted, and it was a joke, but he posted a picture, and the only reason I registered what was happening was because I saw his name, his tag, and he posted a picture of himself as a woman, but he had not dressed up or anything. He's just sitting in front of his computer. And I mean, we know how good
Could you tell it was him?
Well, no. And I was like, is this your...
Why is he posting a picture of this random girl?
Yeah, I was like, okay, like she's cute,
Of this
whatever.
random hottie.
Yeah. Well, you're like, okay. And then...
Like
and
you're
I'm
boot up.
Yeah, but well, I was like, is this your sister or your girlfriend, whatever? And then I see the name and I'm like, wait, and it was a carousel, so I swipe, and I'm like, oh, that's him. And I'm like, these filters are wild. That's crazy.
Wild.
Sam, you'll never believe. I have another friend who did this exact thing, and you're gonna have to put this like on the screen in post when you edit this. But look, this is him as a girl
That's me. That's me. What the flip? That's crazy.
Got him.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's what we were passing around in the office yesterday while you were working on the lights. We were like,
I can't believe it got rid of my beard. That's nuts.
Got rid of the mustache.
You know how I know?
Formerly
it looks like
nuts.
my sister. Like my people think that people think that my sister and I are twins. That looks like my sister. That's crazy.
I had the same thought.
What?
Oh my
I
god.
can't.
well, and
Power of AI.
And I think what it does is it just goes to show, yeah, absolutely, the power of AI. So as we dive into the conversation of AI and the porn and the role it takes, obviously that was fun. That was funny. That was a practical joke. He didn't know we were going to do that. But it gets pretty dangerous, and dangerous on multiple levels. I think one of the first instances where I saw this, because I'd heard of the idea of AI and porn, and I'm like, oh, you're just like mapping up a naked girl on, AI and, whatever.
Right.
But then I think the first real danger that alerted me is whenever I started learning about the nudify apps and deep fakes and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, you can undress your classmates. I heard from a high school student perspective, actually it was on the news. And so that's whenever the red flags started flying, and it's like, oh, this could be really dangerous because this is just wave one of what we're seeing.
Because it's no longer just a AI generated image of someone who doesn't exist. It's like, oh, I'm taking an actual person and using AI to undress them. It's interesting. Actually, earlier this summer, the American government passed legislation. It was a bipartisan measure that criminalized the non-consensual sharing of nude images, including deepfakes.
But what about the creation of them? Like, okay, can I create it and just be a user? Obviously not me, but as an individual, can I, nudify people in my office or in my school? And it's not illegal as long as I don't share it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that makes it like you can have your own fantasy world at home and nobody knows, but you're like, taking advantage of this person in your mind or in your home and they have no clue.
Doesn't sound dangerous at all.
It's really interesting, the nuance of this conversation, and actually what got us rolling down this rabbit trail and landed us on this podcast with this topic was a Christianity Today article that came out that was talking about this growing sensation of AI pornography. And this is what the article said. Some companies like OpenAI, so the founder of ChatGPT, are suggesting the path to, quote, ethical porn goes through generative AI. If all porn were produced this way, the thought goes, no one would be harmed in making it. Porn users could get what they want without human cost. But that's assuming that the only person it costs is the person on the other end of the screen. What does it cost the consumer?
Yeah, arguably it could cost you more. And that's not to, minimize any people who have been victimized into pornography or, been a part of it in any way, because that is also traumatizing. But what happens in the brain whenever you look at porn is quite concerning, because it remaps your attraction palette. It acclimates your body to a different take on arousal.
Stimuli.
Yeah, which is not which becomes much more complicated whenever you do enter into covenantal relationships. Most people listening to this, probably a Christian, we would say, one man, one woman forever.
That was great.
What?
The math is mathing.
Didn't mean to. Wait, 114? Yeah, it's absolutely there. And so it can become very dangerous for the relationships that actually matter. And I think the lie of the enemy is porn is harmless, right? This is, I'm not harming anyone. Especially, I think generative porn would be like, oh, this is even better, because you're right, no one's being hurt. But I actually posed the idea that this could be worse, because we're graduating from, I'm looking at actual women, and that's what's informing my arousal, and now I'm looking at a woman that doesn't actually exist. This is like perfection. This is an image of perfection, and that's what now my brain requires to get my body ready to have sex. I think it's a very slippery slope.
And it puts you in almost like a godlike position where it's like, I don't have to engage with humanity anymore. And I think it can be it can be so dangerous because God has designed us to walk with people and with him. Like his whole point is connection, connection, connection. And I think this actually creates such a great disconnection from reality that people are actually living in almost a fantasy world where I don't know how to have conversations. I don't know how to work through hard things. It's not even worth trying to have a relationship with a girl that's real because I can have no issues at home with this girl who's fake. It's just crazy.
Absolutely.
It's interesting. We were recently having a conversation with a youth pastor, and he was saying that one of the biggest challenges he's seeing high school students face is the fact that they almost feel like split personalities. There's my in real life reality that I live in, and then there's my online reality that I live in. And their brains have started to think of themselves as two different people. So I can exist online and I'm one way, and I exist in person, and the two people hardly integrate at all.
There's like a dissociation.
There's a dissociation between your real life and your online life, and they don't understand that they are one being. And every decision that they make, online or offline, is affecting them body, soul, and spirit. And so this comes into play definitely when it comes to AI and pornography. Let me ask you this. What about the person who would say that isn't using AI pornography better than sinning with someone in real life?
First off, I think that that's a demonically inspired question.
Yeah.
Because if I answer, I'm giving agency to one over the other. I'm giving preference to one over the other. And I think what you see in the Bible is you see Jesus asking questions that reveal the heart. You know what I mean? Was John's baptism from God or from man? And the Pharisees gather up and they're like, well, if we say it was from God, then they'll be like, why'd you do this? But if we say it was from man, why'd you do this? And they're like, I don't know. Because what it did is the question revealed the heart of the matter.
Right.
And I think asking, well, isn't AI pornography better than regular pornography? I think it reveals the heart of the matter, which is no, they're both wrong.
Yeah,
And at the end of the day, sin is still sin.
Right.
absolutely.
And sin destroys you. It destroys you. It destroys others. We think about sin as like, oh, sin, don't talk to me about sin. I know. You're like, no, you don't know. If that's your attitude towards sin, you don't grasp the idea. No, this is literally leading you to death. This is leading you in disconnection with the Lord. This is leading you in disconnection with the people in your life. This is destroying you from the inside out. What are we doing? This statistic honestly blows my mind a little. 89.5% of the people who watch or listen to this podcast regularly aren't yet subscribers to the show. So before we dive in, could I ask you one thing? If this podcast has ever helped you, if you care about honest, unfiltered conversations around God's design for sex, dating, and relationships, would you hit subscribe? It's free and it helps us more than you know. And our promise to you is this: we'll do everything in our power to make this show the best it can be. We'll take your feedback, we'll keep answering your toughest questions, and there's no conversation around God's design for sex and relationships that we'll shy away from. Thank you.
I think if I'm a young person right now, and I'm still young, but if I'm in my 20s...
I love your disclaimer. I'm still young.
I'm still young. It's obvious I'm young.
If I'm me.
Right, guys? I'm blue on blue. This is young, right? If I'm in my 20s right now, I am becoming increasingly concerned about the stewardship of my soul, because I'm hearing conversations like this, and I've got to have this awareness that if I do not take heed to wisdom, I will fall. And if I do not absolutely attack the temptation to look at pornography, look at AI pornography, and connect with real human beings, that I am jeopardizing the way God has designed me to connect with other individuals, specifically in my future marriage, which that's the one person. That's the one. God only has one for you. No, I'm joking. Go watch our other episode on finding the one. But I'm saying is you're designed to have that level of intimacy and connection with one human being by design, and you're actually jeopardizing it for today's pleasure. That's a scary thought to me.
I think we have to, like, the place my mind keeps going is that God became flesh to show us that the human experience was what he has for us. And obviously the human experience is meant to be spiritual in the soul and in the body. It's those three parts. We talk about it a lot. But I'm like, God didn't come down in just God form. He came down in human form. And so I think for us not to engage, and everything that we do in life is supposed to bring us to an encounter with Jesus, like even food. Like God gave us taste buds, great.
I was literally thinking the same the whole time he was saying. I said, "Baby, that's why I gotta smoke."
And guess what? Tonight's steak night. Am I right?
Let's go, baby.
But listen,
we're not smoking our steak. They need to know up front, baby. At Danny's place, we're going cast iron.
1,000%.
Anyway, okay, continue.
But the thing is, food is amazing. God gave us taste buds. But food doesn't actually satisfy on an eternal level. What does satisfy is the body and the wine of Jesus, his sacrifice. His body's the bread, and his blood was poured out as the wine. And so food points to the real food. And so the same thing is true in relationship. Marriage is a covenant, but it points to the covenant with us in Christ, because he's never going to forsake us, and he deals with us in all of our humanity, where we have shortcomings and we fall, and we like have preferences that our spouse doesn't prefer and whatever else. And so I'm like, for us to engage to this level with AI or creating the perfect person or whatever, we're actually missing what God's designed to reveal his nature in. And so I'm like, we've got to be willing to like understand how dangerous this is, because it takes us out of a place and a posture where I can experience how perfect God is, because I realize how perfect I'm not.
It's so good. You know, even the way that you talk about experiencing the Lord in every area of our lives, it really goes back to how every single thing in our life is an act of worship. It's an act of worship to God, or it's an act of worship to something else. It's either an act of worship to God, or it's an act of worship to an idol. And so I would say this: if a husband and a wife having sex is an act of worship to God, because it's God's design for sex between, a man and wife, then what is using AI porn an act of worship to?
Well, let me say this. I have many thoughts, did not know you were going there, but the Bible does say taste and see that the Lord is good. And I feel like whenever we're tasting an artificial goodness of God, it's literally like dumping aspartame into our
processed
body.
sugar. It's one of the worst
things that are going to absolutely destroy our body. We have to be aware of that. So what would that be worship into? I mean, it's pride. First off,
selfishness.
You're essentially, it's self-gratifying, self-worship. It's I matter. It's all about me. It's the antithesis of the building block of a healthy relationship where actual fulfillment is found. Like we talked in a previous podcast, like the best relationships are whenever I'm not selfish. I fully lay down my life for you. You fully lay down your life for me. The beginning of failure in relationships is whenever you lay down your life for me and I lay down my life for me.
I can't get away from like, this feels like the most self-serving thing that you can do sexually, because there's no dying to self. It's actually every preference I have, I get.
It's like you're creating life.
Yeah.
It's like the absolute opposite of dying to self.
Yeah, no, it's so, and I feel like we have to emphasize the gospel is die to self. That is the premise of everything that we believe in, what we do. And so I'm like, if I'm actually going to be a partner in the gospel, believe what Jesus says, and function in the way that he's designed me to, then I have to understand the point of relationship is to die to self.
Not to mention that Jesus literally said the first will be last. And he said, I came not to be served, but to serve. Everything about our calling as Christians is to serve someone else. And that includes our sex life, because God's design is that sex would only happen within the context of marriage. It's not just like, great, when I get married, my needs can be met. It's when I get married, now you are the person that I get to serve in this way.
I like how you brought up, Christ came to serve, not to be served, because in previous conversations, we have really identified that your best life is lived and experienced when it is in service to others. And you are creating for yourself a very hollow existence when you lean heavily into self-serving, especially through, generative pornography.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to point out like the kindness of God and just his goodness. Cause like think about like, okay, he designed us to have sex. That was his idea. He
Thank you,
dreamed
God.
it up. But then he gives you like in your actual like private parts, you've got these nerves that like
Thank
you have
you,
this
God.
incredible, but it's the same thing with food. Like you've got taste buds and like
Bless God.
he made it an experience that like, you know, is supposed to be I mean, I haven't had sex, but I'm like, it's gonna be incredible. Like you
Yeah.
you have, I mean, I'm sure you guys can speak more to that than I can, but I'm saying like,
I've had sex once or twice.
hey baby, let's go. But I'm saying like
This week. How
I
did
just
we
think
get so off?
I don't know.
derailed?
I don't know. It's because we're sitting next to each
Continue.
other. But I just want to thank the Lord. Like sometimes we can get so caught up in like sex is bad and taboo and whatever. But like God's design is so kind and so considerate and so thoughtful. And like so full stop on that. But that's where my brain just went. So
It's so true. It honestly, this is a bit of a bridge, but go with me. It reminds me of the Israelites when they were being offered real intimacy with God, and Moses goes up on the mountain, and what'd they do? They made a golden calf.
Yeah.
An image. They made a god that they could control because it was convenient for them in the moment. Because there was something slightly amiss. They're starting to feel anxious. They're starting to feel like, oh, what are we doing out here? I'm starting to feel a little out of control. Boom. You know what? Let me solve this problem. I could solve this problem right now. And
We don't want to wait on the Lord. We want to satiate the desire of intimacy and worship. And I think for a single person, that is a battle that they will have to fight, because waiting, there's the opportunities to tap out of waiting are so convenient that you have to have a resolve inside of you that says it does not matter what the world offers me. I'm holding out for the real thing.
And not only that, remember, you're empowered by the Holy Spirit. Like grace gives you the ability to do what you cannot do on your own.
Can we also circle back to the story of the golden calf and remember Moses's response where he came down, he ground the calves into a powder, put it in water, and made them drink it.
Do you think that's what God wants to do with AI?
Wow, these computer chips are tasty.
that's wild.
Okay, let me just say.
Think about the response that the body had to that. You're not designed
Oh my
to
gosh.
take that into your body, but you become what you worship.
That's crazy.
Wow. Let me also say, and this might be one of the more unhinged things we've said on this podcast.
Go on.
But this actually is not from me. This is from a pastor in our church. He said that pornography is an idol, and when you have an orgasm to it, it's like you're bowing down and making a sacrifice to it.
It's very weird to me that you would say that, but I get it. The Bible literally says you worshiped worthless idols and you yourself became worthless. Google that, you'll find it. And so it's like you will become, what's more worthless than artificial intelligence whenever it comes to satisfying the soul? It's depravity. You know what I mean? It has no ability to satisfy the soul. Only Christ can satisfy the soul.
And let me also say, we've talked so much about our needs, our quote unquote needs. Your deepest need is to be fully seen, fully known, fully loved.
1,000%.
Yeah.
That is the need. And when we're looking to something else to feel fully seen, known, and loved, that's when a chasm starts to form between us and what was truly meant to satisfy, which is the Lord.
And
So
let's talk about the danger of AI is they actually do fully see you.
Do they?
The computer does. And that's why so many people can have an attachment to AI because it's like, I mean, I even asked AI just kind of as a joke. I'm like, hey, what do you think my Myers-Briggs, my Enneagram, and my DISC personality assessment is? And it's like, hey, based off of everything I know about you, bang, bang, bang. And it nailed me. Why? Because it knows me. And that's the fallacy, is that people can begin to feel known by technology when really it's an algorithm.
It's a counterfeit.
Absolutely, it's counterfeit. And because they feel seen, and they are seen, even though it's artificial, they begin to create even these bonds with AI, and that's why, I mean, there have been really tragic stories that have come out about people who will be in relationship with AI, and and AI has assisted in suicide, or AI has replaced a woman's desire to be pursued by a man because AI knows exactly what to say. Emotional intelligence, 10 out of 10, knows how to make me feel better, even though, no, we know it's a computer. The soul doesn't care.
I'm sorry, can we just talk about for a minute? It's artificial. It's literally in the name. You weren't created for anything artificial. You were created for the real thing.
Boy, let's talk about this. Gen Z is all about authenticity. Yeah. Okay, then get off your generative AI porn creator, because that's the exact opposite of authenticity. Gen Z, you can't tell me that you value authenticity when you're looking at porn. You can't tell me that you value authenticity when you're leaning on AI for your needs to be met. I think you're lying to yourself. If you value authenticity, Rage Against the Machine.
Is that a music reference?
It's definitely millennial for sure. Everyone in the chat said,
"What?" You had me till then.
It might even be Gen X.
I love it. Well, let me ask you this, just as we kind of bring this conversation to a close. What do you think real healing looks like in a world full of artificial intelligence disconnection that we actually think is connection?
I think the answer is, how can you be the most connected? And I think connected to yourself, to people, and to the Lord. And I think it's as simple as that, because God has designed us to live in a relationship with Him and with each other. That's like the most important thing. And so I'm like, if there's somewhere where I don't feel connected, then that's the place where I need to focus and find a place to connect, because the place that you've been hurt the most is also the place that you're going to find the healing for that very thing. So it's like, how can I connect myself to the places where I have the most fear, the most pain, the most trauma, whatever else, and obviously do it in Christian community and have the word be your source and be full of the Spirit and all these kind of things. But it's connection. That is absolutely, I think, the bottom line answer.
If I'm a 22-year-old male, just to get really specific, all the 22-year-old men are like, it's a word from the Lord. It is. Listen up. And I'm struggling, and I feel trapped. I'm going after connection through radical confession. You don't need to gingerly approach what's warring against your soul and say, I think I have a lust problem. No, you need to spell it out and say, you need to go to an older adult, someone mature in the faith, and you need to say, I am playing with fire. I'm not playing with fire, I'm dancing in fire. I am addicted to AI porn.
Or porn.
Yeah.
Regular
or porn. Yeah. I know. Well, the conversation's AI, so and I think for Christians it would be like, it's not real, it's not real. It's these microchips, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would go to that and I would be gut level honest very frequently. You would say, I need a rehab. A conversation with Chris we were having earlier. Chris said it would be so easy to become addicted to pornography that because it taps into a real native need and desire inside of all of us that is supposed to be met. He said within a week you could easily be absolutely addicted to pornography, and it would be, difficult to overcome.
He also said that, drugs is one thing. It's like you weren't created for drugs. Mm-hmm. It's very other. He's like, but sex, You were created to have
Extremely
sex.
natural.
God gave you a sex drive.
It's not like here's your covenant drugs. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And so his point was just, that's why it's so easy to get addicted to something, because this is something that God put, this desire is something that God put in you.
Absolutely. I would, if you want healing, you have to open yourself up. You have to be connected. You have to be connected. What does connection look like? It means being absolutely seen and known by a human.
Yeah, and vulnerable. You can't withhold.
Who know, and guess what? You're going to be tempted to block off people for many reasons. The enemy is always going to look for a reason for you to put up the wall of protection. You have to rage against that, because once you protect yourself from others, you will begin coping with an artificial of any type. You know what I mean? Even if it's artificial intimacy through pornography or fantasy and masturbation. So tear down the walls, be seen, be known, be vulnerable, and be diligent. You cannot do it once. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be weird. I don't know who to talk to. God will send you someone. I have faith in that. God will send you someone who, and you're going to be scared to death to talk to that person. That means it's the right person. That's the person you should go to. Well, I might lose my job. Okay, well, it's more important than losing your soul.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. I think, too, I have this one thought I just had. In the word, it says that if you sleep with a prostitute, you become one with her. Mm-hmm. And I think, again, it's just the emphasis of like you were saying, it's not the same as drugs, because sex is so interwoven into our whole being that, I mean, and then you talked about even like when Moses came back down and he was like, hey, drink basically their calf juice, but it wasn't milk, you know.
Juice.
But he says that.
Nice.
And so in reality, what they were doing is they were becoming one with the idol they had created. And so imagine now with AI, I don't want to be one with artificial anything. Mm-hmm. I want to be one with Jesus and with his creation and his design and the way that he structured things. So because you are uniting yourself when it comes to sexual stuff, you're uniting yourself to whatever it is. Absolutely. And so I want to be united to the person that I'm in relationship with, married, you know, that's what I want to be, but I want to do it in God's design. Yeah. So,
well, guys, this has been an incredible conversation around AI and porn, and it's something that we're just going after. It's not a super, we don't have degrees in this. It's not like there's a ton of studies out on it. We're just starting to have the conversation because we've got to shine light on the schemes of the enemy. And so, Sam, thanks for joining us on today's podcast. Babe Nation, you look beautiful as always. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Guys, we'll see you next time on the Let's Talk About It podcast.
We know this podcast isn't just a show. It's a conversation that's changing lives. If anything you've heard here, or in one of our courses, videos, or resources, has helped you break free from sexual sin, date more intentionally, or build stronger, healthier, more godly relationships, would you let us know? Drop a comment, send us a message. We would love to hear your testimony. And when you share it, it not only encourages us, but it might just help someone else realize that they're not alone. Thanks for being part of this movement.